Peace and aloha from my inner child to yours. Peace and aloha. I go by Kore, and welcome back to the Palace of Persephone. It is a very overcast. I should show you instead of just tell you. Let's see. Very overcast, soon to be windy and rainy day. We are getting the weather system that has been traveling across the North American continent from California, that's been bringing all the rain and filling up the basins there in California, and like the reserves of water that haven't been full in many years are like overflowed now in California and caused some tornadoes in Mississippi and Arkansas. Praying for the people who are there and not just saying I'm gonna pray for them, but adding them to my prayers at night. Well, now that weather system is moving up the northeast and is bringing a lot of cold and tornadoes to like the northeast area, and I'm on the coast, so we're just now getting the tail end of it. So it's just interesting to notice that the weather system that's here, where it's come from. That's just a little side note. Thank you for joining me here. The main intention that I have for this video is to speak on some things that I have been noticing and learning about myself through the human design system, and honoring the fact that should you decide that you want to look further into your human design system, there is a plethora of information on YouTube from beautiful, beautiful people who are dedicating a lot of their time and space to studying the system and learning in a way in which they can then teach others. And I have learned a lot from a lot of beautiful people on YouTube. Richard Beaumont, Ra Uru, the original downloader of human design, as well as Science and Magic, as well as the Universe Guru, and I could go on and on with all these people. Sandy Freshy, and I forgot the other girl's name. Oh, I feel so bad. I can't remember her name, but you can check out plenty. Crystal Alfarero. I've been doing a lot of research into their channels and what they're teaching about human design outside of just the book that I have, because my book isn't actually that detailed into each of the types, but I wanted to title this video around the human design realm, as well as just like things that I'm learning, because it has been something that's been really difficult. I've only been in the human design world for less than a year. It'll be a year come this June at the time that I'm recording this. And human design is an experiment. It's something that we're meant to sit with, to take in, to process it, and then see how to implement it into our lives. And I am a 2/4 splenic projector, and the areas in my centers that are defined is I have a defined eye and throat with a channel there, the 2343, and then I have a defined root and spleen, and I have a channel there, which I think is I forgot that one, the one that it's called, the very bottom channel. So I only have 2 defined channels, and then I have 4 defined centers out of a total of 9. And I've been learning a lot about the strategy, authority, enough to know, like, in my personal life, the way that it works for other people. I live in a house full of manifesting generators, and so a lot of energy is present within my home environment. Right now, at the time I'm recording, everyone has gone out for the day. I was just kind of blessed with this opportunity to be alone for like the first time again in months. I have made a video on my channel before about this is my first time alone in a long time. That is really important. I'm learning as a projector, and even just like as we're growing as humans and continuing to evolve as humans, and understanding to value that sacred space to take away to be with yourself. And I find that maybe it's something that projectors are really learning about and valuing. This is something that I've been hearing just from like other podcast episodes I've been watching, about understanding that projectors as a design are here to guide others. And so if that is the case, then some of the things that I feel that I'm finding important and valuing in my life to do is in a way an opportunity to guide other people into maybe considering that for their own lives, or for your own life if you decide to take anything away from what I'm sharing today. I'm not going to make it a super long video, so I'm going to keep it. I won't go off on tangents, which I am definitely apt to do. So for me, in this not even a year yet of practicing my strategy is to wait for the invitation, and my authority is my spleen. My spleen is my way of understanding. Once I've gotten an invitation, my spleen will then say, hold on, my throat chakra is opening up. The spleen doesn't really say it really loudly. It'll just be like, no, yes. Your intuition. The spleen is largely tied to the intuition. I found that the spleen sits, oh, it's raining now. The spleen sits right behind the stomach. So sometimes I kind of put my hand over here when someone's talking or offering an invitation to me. But I'm already going on a tangent. So I've been learning my strategy and authority and trying to implement it. And I've been getting some big pushback in my life from not when I don't honor that. So I guess I pray to Spirit to kind of guide me into what the important things I've been learning have been about so that I could make this video concise. So one of the big things for me has been learning to wait for the invitation. And something I've been learning is that it's not necessarily a waiting act, it's a becoming act, becoming the invitation. And so for me, I've lived and grown up in a world, and you have too, most likely, where you're taught that if you want something, you go and get it. If you want to do something, you make plans for it. If you want to go somewhere, you create a way to get there. And so all my life, I've been taught that if I desire something or if something is meant to come to me, I have to go to it. But in reality, as a projector, we are taught to wait for that. And if projectors are supposed to be assisting and guiding other people, then perhaps it might be something like, not necessarily for a manifesting generator, because you're definitely supposed to follow those impulses, but maybe more so honoring, like, even a manifesting generator, their strategy is to not wait to respond. Well, it's technically wait to respond, but they're supposed to be responding to something. So they're in their act of being who they are, and then someone brings something to them, and then they're like, oh yeah, or nah, I'm good. And then they keep doing their thing. Outside of that, like those pivotal moments, and for a projector, it's like who you love, where you live, and the work that you do. I think were like the three main things they say a projector should be weighted to be invited into, so that you know it's right for you. And for me, a lot of my life, I didn't wait for an invitation. I had been sitting and thinking about that. Like all of my personal romantic relationships, my first relationship, I pursued him. In my second relationship, I pursued him. In my just last relationship, I pursued him. And my partner, I'm pointing like he's here, but my partner, who I'm currently with, who I'm married to, it didn't really feel like either of us necessarily pursued each other to begin with. We worked together and kind of just met, here and there. But when it became more of a romantic experience, he actually pursued me, which is very new for me. But in doing so, like in honoring, like that's a whole other thing, because it's kind of like a twin flame counterpart-ish story. It's a long story to get into with that, but that's been the major difference between my relationships with my previous partnerships and the one I'm in now, is I was invited into my relationship with my partner now. And there are so many experiences where I could think of, like when I basically invited myself to be in a relationship with other, and then seeing how I felt in it, how drained I felt, how unseen, unheard, misunderstood, because they didn't even recognize me. You're supposed to wait for the invitation, but a big part of it, they say, is to be recognized. So first, when someone's inviting you into something, then what you're supposed to do is to wait, to not wait, but to sit with whether or not you feel that that person recognizes you. So like if someone comes up to me and is like, hey, you want to do this? I'm supposed to kind of sit and be like, does this person even really know me? Do they even really know who I am? Do they really recognize me for who I am and not what they think I am, not what they've projected me to be? So I've been learning a lot too about understanding that just because someone invites you into something doesn't mean you say yes. First of all, I've already been learning that. Just because you get an invitation doesn't mean it's a yes. That's when your authority is helping you to learn to discern. You're like, oh, this is for me. No, that's not for me. And there have been multiple moments where like I have been invited into something and then said yes just because I was so desperate to do something. And then it was clearly not for me, and I was drained. I felt bitter, and I've been really struggling with feelings of bitterness in this just most recent month that I'm in, this moon phase. I'm about to start my cycle. So I imagine I'll be processing a lot of this on my cycle. But I so strongly desire, and you as a projector or whatever design type you may be, if you haven't, I would strongly recommend you find that out. you may understand this feeling of like, there's so many things I know I want to do. I know I want to travel, and I just talked about this in a video like recently, which is why I knew I needed to make this. I so desperately want to travel. I so desperately want to see different parts of the world. I so desperately want to move into my purpose, and a lot of my purpose involves being in different parts of Gaia on the land. It's starting to really rain now. And I know all these things, and so I've been trying to make plans to just go and do it now. Like, I want to do it now. Learning to be more patient, and I never realized how impatient I was until I started trying to work with my human design. I was like, oh snap, I really am always trying to make a new plan, or a new new way, or new this, new that. And so, oh, that rain sounds nice. Okay, I'm good. I'm almost on my ending point. I've been really sitting with this last year of learning. I've only been really interacting. This is something you guys probably don't know. Those who already subscribed to me probably don't really know. But I live in my partner's mother's house. So it's his mother, me and him, and then his niece. And then I occasionally see my mom and sister. And those are like the only physical people that I've been seeing for like almost the last 2 years. And there's not a lot of people. So all of my lessons that I've been receiving have been just from these individuals. And when I go and like interact with other people, sometimes I feel like I don't even really know what I'm supposed to be doing. And human design has really been helping me to like not be as socially anxious as I've been feeling, and moving more into the external, extroverted world. And I am an introvert by nature. So recently just went to visit other people, other humans, and I was learning to wait, to be invited to say something or to offer advice, or understanding when I'm feeling that invitation, understanding when I'm like not feeling invited, understanding when it's just good to be quiet, when I can just be, when I should go take some sacred space. And so I'm saying all of this to say that human design has really assisted me in surrendering, because I've been recently making plans to travel, and my goal was to start traveling this month in April. And from the way, realistically, Saturn transiting my second house, I am becoming way more realistic in understanding that this path that I'm taking is not as fast as I would like it to be, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, and that more things will be coming towards me that are meant for me if I allow the opportunities to come to me. But something I was confused about is, as a projector, if you like to travel, then how do you get invited to go travel? Guinness hears a car, so he may or may not bark, just to warn you. So, yeah, I hear him. It's funny. So, I read on a live stream about projectors that when you feel called to a place in Gaia, you don't need an invitation from Gaia. Gaia already has always an open invitation. If you feel called to a place in Gaia, that you go to where Gaia is calling you to go. But I'm learning to be more realistic with the Saturn influence. It's okay, Guinness. Thank you. And honoring all of the things that this, not just human design, but my astrological. I'm going to pause you really quick until he's done barking. Okay, he is all done barking. We got our delivery. Hopefully it's my yarn. Anyhow, so I was getting on here to speak about the fact that human design has really been showing me a lot about how I haven't been flowing and living in alignment, even though I feel that I am, or I feel like I'm on the right path. I get a lot of roadblocks, and I get a lot of things that stop me, to slow me down and to ask me to be patient and to understand that yes, there are things that I want to do and I will do them, but there is divine timing at play. So I'm learning to honor that. I'm learning to not just wait, but become the invitation, and to just take the time that I feel that I'm waiting in to just continue to grow and learn about the things that I'm interested in, to continue to learn about different types of ways in which I can cultivate what I'm already experienced in, honing things that call to me, because projectors are here to master systems, or a specific system. So yeah, it's just been really interesting, and this is me kind of speaking about something I'm experiencing in it, but also very open to anyone who's watching this as a projector to please leave your own experience beneath, especially if you feel like the way in which you're living, because I feel very secluded in the way that I'm living right now, only being around a couple of people, that it's not necessarily easy for me to receive invitations where I am. And I'm gonna have to make another video after this one. And I'm not on a lot of social media platforms. I no longer use Instagram. I'm only using YouTube. So like my breadth of feeling like I can receive an invitation feels limited to me, but I'm honoring it and I'm learning to understand it. I'm working on myself and just continuing to cultivate who I am and what I'm here to do as much as I can, so that by the time I do receive my next invitation, I won't be like, oh my gosh, but wait, I need to focus on this more. Oh wait, but I'm not ready for that. I'm taking the time now to do so that I can be the best version of me, to step into what it is that I feel I'll be stepping into doing with other beings. But I definitely know what I'm here to do, even just as an individual, which feels good, and I'll talk about that in another video. I'm going to end this here. It may have been a little rambly, but that's because there's so many different areas of human design, and most human design videos I watch are really super long because it's kind of complex and is so based on the individual experience that it's hard to make these videos short. So thank you for sitting for 15, 16 minutes with me and just kind of receiving what you could have received from what I was sharing, and allowing me to really just kind of speak out things that I've been experiencing in this human design system. Especially as a projector, it feels good to be seen and heard, so I appreciate that. So please, by all means, leave a comment underneath if you want to give any advice. I am inviting you as a projector, if you're a projector, to please tell me anything that comes to mind from your intuition, from your ability to penetrate someone's aura. But yeah, please look into your human design if you haven't. It's been a really helpful tool in helping me to honor myself even more outside of just astrology and understanding astrologically what's going on. So yeah, I'm going to end this here. I will be speaking with you very soon because I just got a download about another video I need to make and why I need to make it. So until next time, as always, I am sending you peace and aloha.